sitting on a rainbow. Got that string around my finger. What a world. Hey, what a life. Hang on. I'm in
Woo!
Oh,
Wow.
welcome to the Silver Phoenix Happy Hour. Wow, just listen to that.
What an amazing open. Thank you, Lou Dottoli, who will be our guest later on today. So you will get to meet him a little bit later in the show. Cheers. Thank you. Wow, what an incredible open.
Oh,
Mm.
so we are boozing with Blue Eyes tonight, actually, on Silver Phoenix Happy Hour.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And I'm not sure what's in your glass, but in my glass, this is Frank's favorite drink, which was, do you know?
Based on the color of the glass, Scotch?
Jack Daniels.
Oh, whiskey. Okay, yes.
Yeah, Jack and water, just a little bit of Jack and water. I had to do it in honor of old Blue Eyes. So, so good.
Understandable. I decided to keep it classy. I've got the blazer on. I've got a little Merlot. I was thinking a little lounge act type thing going on here.
Perfect. I like it. I like it. You know, I was thinking as we decided to have Sinatra as our main focus of a show, all of the nicknames that he had. So it was like Blue Eyes. He was chairman of the board. He was Swoonatra was one of them. The Voice. It just amazes me how many nicknames that he had that kind of followed him throughout his career.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? As bizarre as it's gonna sound, as a kid, one of my favorite things that even as a kid I got, even, because he had been in the limelight for so long, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? When they pull a sword out and it's just the face of Sinatra crooning into a microphone as a gag was hysterical.
I always think of the frog too. You know that "Hello, my baby."
Yes, the WB frog. Yes,
It didn't sound like him at all, but he just had that like swag like Sinatra has. You know,
that je ne sais quoi, that panache.
that panache, that panache. Uh, so, so what are we going on today? Like, what do you have going on here for this show today? We have a pretty packed lineup.
Well, I mean, I'm going to put you on the spot because you actually have a friend on as a guest tonight with
Yes,
a little bit of history.
Lou Dottoli, who is going to be our guest, who you saw in the opening package there. We go way back. We actually sang at the casinos together, and I think I worked for him a short period of time too. But I haven't seen him in a really long time. You know, COVID kind of did that where and I moved to New York too, so it kind of that I wasn't in Jersey anymore. But yeah, super excited to have him on because he not only sings Sinatra, but he knows a lot about him too. So because he had to when you're delving into those songs that are so beautiful and lyrical, you kind of have to delve deep to the original singer and see what his phrasings were and things like that. So I'm excited to have him chat with us.
He's
For
definitely keeping the spirit alive.
Yes, yes, he really is. So let me ask you a question. What do you like about Sinatra's music? Are you pretty familiar with him, or what's your background?
I'm a layman. Like, I know a lot of the songs that would play on the oldies hits. I know the hits essentially. I'm more of a fan that of him as an actor, that he transcended just the music, went into acting. But again, one of my favorites is the fact that he did a musical. I loved him in Guys and Dolls.
He played Nathan Detroit.
Right.
Um, so I'm blanking on the name of the song, but maybe it's on one of these records that I have here. These are from my own personal stash. So let's see. We got this is the probably. I mean, it's the Sinatra Ultimate. Come on. So this one has All or Nothing at All. I've got The World on a String, which you heard Lou sing at the beginning. Young
Right.
Heart, Love and Marriage. I've Got You Under My Skin. Witchcraft. All the Way. My personal favorite, which is not on this one, but All of Me. Do you know that one?
Oh, oh no, I think Willie Nelson when I think All of Me.
No, this was like a all of me. Why not take?
Well, again, Willie Nelson.
Yeah,
Willie Nelson covered it.
yeah. Did he really? Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
I
tonight.
mean, and me being the fan that I am, how could I not acknowledge "Love and Marriage," the theme song to Married with Children?
I mean, that's true though. A lot of his stuff have gone on to be in movies and, different TV shows and things. Oh, The Way You Look Tonight,
Yep.
classic. People when they get married, that's one of their songs.
If we keep this up, I might have to sing, and it's not going to be good for anybody.
Listen, I'm trying to get you to sing. That's why I'm mentioning. How about That's Life? Come on, it's really hard not to sing.
That's life.
There we go. Perfect. See that? All right, mission accomplished. I don't even have to say Summer Wind because
The way you look tonight.
there we go.
All right, no, we got to stop because we're going to lose listeners now.
You missed your calling.
I did. No, I didn't. I'm terrible. I'm so terrible. I don't do the man justice at all.
Listen, I mean, I think that's the beauty of Sinatra is that you just had to have the vibe, right? You had
It's
to have,
about presence, is what it is.
yeah. I mean, his music made you, at least for me, it made me feel something. I was always like, whenever I listen, it's not that I get emotional. It's not like I'm crying or anything, but but I really feel it in my bones. And maybe because it's, reminds me a little bit of my grandfather growing up, where we would listen to music together. I also was on the radio and did a Sinatra show.
That's
Uh,
right. That's
yeah,
right.
yeah, so it's, I definitely have a huge history. Most people probably that I hang around with now don't know how big of a fan I am of Sinatra. They all think like mermaid stuff and beach stuff, which is 100% factual as well. But Sinatra has been, you know, my heart for a really long time. So
One of the things about Sinatra, like he's synonymous with Jersey, especially Hoboken. Like he is the golden boy when you talk about Hoboken. And if I remember, you have a connection with Hoboken, right?
yeah, I actually lived right up the hill from Hoboken, and I would go down and visit his star in Hoboken on Monroe Street quite often, actually, when I was just feeling like I wanted to get into that vibe a little bit. But he has a star there. That's where he lived, also. So his house, which is not there any longer, it burned down. But they do have like a little museum there, and it's just really really cool to go and check out, where he grew up basically and got his start. So super, super cool. Speaking of Jersey, our guest, who you heard at the opening, Lou Dottoli, is also a Jersey guy. So let's welcome Lou.
All right.
Hi, Lou. How are you?
Hi, everyone.
This is
Pleased to
so
be here.
great. I'm actually super excited about this.
Yeah, it's so good to see your face. It's been a while.
It has. It has. No mask.
No, I know exactly. No mask. So listen, today's all about Frank Sinatra, and obviously you sing so many of his songs. You're not an impersonator. Let's get that straight. But you do sound a lot like him, and you embody him a lot with your phrasing and other things like that, as people could tell in the opening segment that we had. So tell me, did you ever get to meet Frank?
Funny story. I was almost kicked in the face by him. So I think that's pretty awesome. I bought tickets when he was performing at the Sands Casino in Atlantic City back in 1991, and I tipped the maitre d'. I didn't know what to tip him, so I tipped him a couple $100, and he put me right up front, like right there where Sinatra was standing on the stage. So he was stepping on my fingers. He could have anyway. I was snapping photos in his face, and he looked like he wanted to kick me. I still have those photos I took, by the way.
That's one of my biggest regrets is that I never saw him live in concert. That is, I saw his son Frank Jr. in Atlantic City actually, and I cried the whole time. I mean, literally
Oh,
telling stories about Frank and
yeah.
just incredible. So, Ken, do you have a question you want to throw by Lou?
Yeah, actually, of all things, I mean, you sound incredible. Like, there's no doubt about that.
Thank
But
you.
one of the things that I was curious was why Sinatra?
Frank Sinatra had a unique ability to get across to his listeners exactly what the lyricist wrote down in the music charts. And that's what did it for me. It wasn't the sound of his voice, because honestly, I don't even think Frank Sinatra had a beautiful voice, because it wasn't beauty that I heard. It was the emotion that I felt. And that is why Frank Sinatra has fans that are young kids like I was, 18 years old, on up into, into their 90s until they die. And all over the world, in fact.
Right. Do you remember where you were when Frank passed away?
I actually was performing or getting ready to leave for a performance. And I can remember when I came home that day, I went into my studio and I turned the lights off. I lit a couple of candles and I played the third album on his trilogy album. It's the most unlistened to Frank, but it was very foretelling about his death and how he wanted to go back to Hoboken and go in those old bar rooms that he used to sing in and play pool with his old friends and everything. And I listened to that, and I'm telling you, I wept a little bit. I must admit, I did.
Yeah.
But I don't try to sound like Frank Sinatra. What I do is I studied his voice with a wonderful vocal coach by the name of Lawrence Bogue, who has since passed. And we studied his breathing, his diction, his phrasing. And that is what I really worked hard on. So when people hear Frank Sinatra in my voice, they are hearing his style, not quite the sound of his voice, in my opinion, anyway.
Gotcha.
I'll be honest. I mean, Frank was a consummate showman, which is essentially what you're presenting to us too. But after seeing some of your work, you too are completely up there on that scale. You are a showman through and through, and can totally captivate an audience. You are incredibly amazing.
Thank you so much. I try very hard to captivate the audience, as you say, uh, because the entire package needs to be portrayed when you're on stage.
Let me ask you something. So
Yes,
recently, Sid Mark just passed in April
he
last.
did.
Did you ever get to meet him or work with him at all?
Quite a few times, in fact. Yeah, yeah. Old Sydney. It
Yeah.
started with a phone call. I used to call him on Fridays with Frank or Sunday with Sinatra, because he lived in the Philadelphia area, as do I. Um, so we began a telephone relationship like that, and I saw him out on some occasions. I'm a member of the Sinatra Social Society. Can't say that too fast. The Sinatra Social Society. I provide entertainment for them. Twice a year we meet, and they're all over the nation. Members are, and Sid Mark, very good friends with the organization.
Wanted to also ask, because there's a lot of people out there that have dreams of being in the entertainment business in some way, shape, or form, whether it's a
Mhm.
singer, actor, model. And I know, you do have a history of modeling, acting, the whole work. So um, what's your best advice that you can give them, when they're just starting out fresh?
I bought a blank book years ago when I started in this business. I've been doing it for 27 years. And I would write down things in this book that I wish people shared with me when I got started, because I didn't know who to go to. I didn't know who to see, where to take voice lessons. Who do you trust? What kind of teacher? Who do I go to when I want to be promoted? I didn't know any of that stuff. So I had to start uh, singing for anyone that I could. And I didn't even know what to charge. I charged next to nothing in the beginning because I had no clue. I'm like, wow, people are giving me money. This is great. So I quit my other job and I've been doing this ever since. So yeah, there's a ton of advice that I would give to other performers. Find someone that can mentor you, someone who has been there, whether they've made mistakes or whether they've had success. They can still offer some great wisdom to you.
And thank you for keeping the legacy and all the emotion moving forward.
It is my pleasure, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Lou. Appreciate it. Great seeing you again.
Thank you, both of you.
Thank you very
Likewise.
much.
Bye.
Take care.
Wow. Wow, that was cool. I like the whole getting kicked in the head story too. I mean, come
Oh,
on.
you know what? I was going to interrupt him at one point and say, so when you sing that song, ain't that a kick in the head? Do you think of Fred?
Right? Right?
I've known him for a long time, and but I moved to New York, and it's been a while since I've seen him. So that was just really cool to be able to reconnect with him like that. So and see all of his success. It's
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah. So, talk about success. Let's talk a little bit about Sinatra and all of his success. So, I know that he has 11 Grammy Awards. He did win Best Supporting Actor for the Academy Awards, which incredible. That was from Here to Eternity in 1954. He's also won the Golden Globes 4 times. What else? What else?
Man has sold over 150 million albums. Right? I mean, no small feat right there.
No, and especially without social media and what they have now. I mean, it's unbelievable to me that he sold that many albums. But as Lou said, he's timeless. Like young people love him, and older. Like it's kind of generational. You're not going to find that with a lot of artists. So
Took the words right out of my mouth. He said it earlier. It's a huge generational thing, and even young people today know him by name. It's still crazy after all of these years. I got another one. Every December 12th on his birthday, the Empire State Building lights up blue in memory of him.
December 12th, right?
Yep.
I have one last one that is pretty interesting. Did you know he has an asteroid named after him?
No.
I have to look at the actual number though. It's 7934 Sinatra is what it's called.
Oh, I thought it was going to be called Old Blue Eyes.
I mean, you would think so, but no. Anyway, segueing into that, let's welcome Nicole back for In the Kitchen.
What's up, Blaze and Ken? I'm so excited to celebrate Sinatra with you. And if you don't feel like celebrating Hoboken's favorite son by cooking Italian at home, you might be headed out to an Italian restaurant this evening. Now, Italian restaurants, and quite frankly, most restaurants these days, have become notorious for serving up gigantic portions. So when we're talking Sinatra, everyone talks about his size. And the size we're going to talk about today is 9 inches. And that is roughly how big your plate should be on a regular basis. When we're out at a restaurant, we see 12, 13, 14-inch platters served as though they're one portion. So here's a couple of quick tips when we're dining out, Italian or maybe even otherwise. One, if you know the dishes are going to be huge, ask the waiter to right away bag up half or share with one of your dining companions. Two, when we're navigating that pasta portion of the menu, keep an eye out for stuff that is listed as being cream-based. Let's look for those nice red saucy options. Let's look for stuff that's packed with some vegetables to feel a little bit better about your night out on the town. And third, guess what? And I could speak it because I'm half. Real Italians are ending their meal with salad. So do a little app, maybe something baked, not fried, or something fresh. If you're doing pasta, keep it on the non-creamy side, right? And how should we finish off that meal? Let's set it off with a salad. You're gonna feel so much better waking up tomorrow morning as opposed to picking some of the other options that we see on an Italian menu. Whether you're celebrating at home or out on the town, do it with blue eyes in mind tonight. Blaze and Ken, back to you.
Wow. Okay. She started going into the whole size thing and I lost it. I'm sorry.
I mean, we're drinking here, but then she's talking about Italian food and creams and not, and I'm like,
What a great fit for Sinatra though. I mean, it's a great tribute. I'm not gonna lie.
You know, whenever I think about going out to dinner, like Italian, I think about going out with my friends. And one of the things that I do love about Sinatra is, you know, the Rat Pack, that he had his friends around him all the time. And, you know, and that he was so funny, the different shows that he did with them. Dean Martin, let's see if you know all of the Rat Pack, Ken. So Dean Martin,
Sammy Davis Jr., Joey Bishop.
Joey Bishop, and one more.
Uh, who do we? Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr. I'm gonna kick myself.
Peter Lawford.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I
Yeah.
haven't watched Ocean's 11 in a while, so
Well, you know, Frank did not like the word rat, because since he grew up in Hoboken, I guess, and just the connotation of rat in New York and New Jersey. So he didn't like that, but you know, it stuck, and too bad, you know. So, but I just love that, you know, that whole
it,
chemistry they had.
in a weird way, though, again, the generational thing, even in the 80s, even long after he had been performing, we got the Brat Pack. Like, it still was a thing. Like, it always carries forward.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. You know, one of the other things too that I was reading about in that book, Why Sinatra Matters, when I was rereading some things, is, you know, he really was a civil rights activist. There's a story that comes to mind with Quincy Jones, and where he was playing at a venue in Vegas, and Frank actually had hired each one of the band members a bodyguard, and said that if anybody looks at you the wrong way, punch them out. That's what he told the the bodyguards, if anybody looked at any of them the wrong way. And I know that, you know, he worked a lot with Ella Fitzgerald, who is one of my favorite female singers. Matter of fact, I have to read a quote that he said about her, which was, and he had a great relationship with her in general. They performed a lot, they had some records together, but he said, Ella Fitzgerald's the only performer who makes me nervous. You know, try to pull myself up to that height, because, you know, I believe she's the greatest popular singer in the world, barring none, male or female. I mean,
It speaks volumes. I mean, that talent, that voice, that energy. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. I mean, you see behind me that I have a picture of, that's actually a poster that I have since I was a kid, actually, of the Rat Pack. And then I had one next to it that was Ella Fitzgerald. So I always consider the two of them very synonymous, but I also do sing jazz and blues, and I love that, you know, that style. So it just kind of fits right in.
Well, I
So
mean, and it makes sense because when you and I first met, I knew that you were a singer. I've actually gotten to listen to you, and you are just as sultry and soulful. I mean, you are incredible.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I was actually considering asking Lou if he wanted to do a little duet together, but I got shy.
Little curious. I was almost there myself too. All right, you ready, Blaze? Because you got your friend on tonight. Now I get to bring mine in, right? And this is a person I've known for a long time. We have a lot of history, and she actually is involved with our, talk about Sinatra and history and music. I really want to bring in one of my closest friends, the incredible Tuesday Night.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
It's so great to see you again. It's been so long since you and I have actually had a chance to actually talk and hang out with each other.
I know, I know. When are we going to see each other? Ever?
No, because I don't go to California. I don't
I
do
know,
that.
but I do. I do go back there sometimes. So that would probably be the best time to see you.
We'll have to work. We'll have to work it out soon in the future. But
Yeah.
tonight, again, we are talking about Frank Sinatra,
Okay.
and one of the things that I know that you love to talk about is your dad, Baker Knight,
Right.
who was a huge deal in the music industry. I know that he did work and compile a couple of songs with Frank Sinatra,
Hmm.
but I'm actually curious about your dad and you as a child. Like that had to be an incredible experience with the amount of talent coming in and out working with your
Yeah.
dad. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. My dad was, always having people come in. He had like this office den where everybody would, come and meet him. But I'd always, like be like spying on him to see like who was coming in. Like, not that I recognized anybody, but I was like, what's that? Who's singing? Who is that? Are they doing one of his songs? You know. So it was cool. I mean, Ricky Nelson and like, oh gosh, I don't know who came by. Frank Sinatra. Who else came by the house? Chris Crosby was an artist who is Bing Crosby's nephew. He was there, but all kinds of people would be there, and I would try to, perform for them. And my dad would like be ushering me out of the room because what
I almost feel like we're interviewing the
I
wrong
know a
person.
story.
Hold
I know
on.
it's my mom. I know
Your mom, yes.
Yes, I know a really funny story. Okay. When I was in school, I went to this church school, and it was like everybody would talk about their parents and everything, what they would do. And we were outside one time, and the teacher had the radio on, and The Wonder of You came on by Elvis. And I was like, oh my God, that's my dad's song. So it happened several times when I was outside working on these. We were making cameras, and so it kept, things like that kept happening. And then they called my mom, and they said, we really need you to come down because your daughter is like making these stories up and telling all these kids all these weird stories about her dad being famous and about songs on the radio and whatever. So my mom's like, well, she's not lying. That is true. That's what her dad does. And the lady was just like, oh, really? And then got very interested while I was sitting there in the office, very interested in like what my mom had to say. So that was a really funny story because I was like known as like this big liar. And then all of a sudden, everything just kind of fell in my lap. And it was like, yes, see, I'm not a liar. So that was really cool. Just so many things. My dad managed a band for a while called the Power Plant, which was really awesome. Dino, Desi, and Billy, Paul McCartney. I mean, everybody's done his songs, but the song that Frank Sinatra did was called Anytime at All. And it was really funny because my dad liked it, but there was this one part about it where Frank said something about around the house or something. And my dad was like, I don't like the way you said that. It was like, no, I don't like that. And I'm like, my mom was like, well, it's Frank Sinatra. You kind of have to go with that.
There's so much that we still have to get to with you at some point. We are going to be doing a bunch of episodes that I want to bring you in for. I know we're going to be talking a lot around the Halloween season. And if you're up for it, I would love to do a little bit of Nightmare on Elm Street with you. But I do know, I think we might actually have a Marilyn Monroe episode coming up. And I know you've played Marilyn in the past.
Yeah, great. Yeah. 3
right?
times.
So like you might be a recurring character here on the show.
Oh, that'd be great. I'd love to. You guys are darling. I'd love to.
Before you go to, we do ask everybody this question. If you could give a piece of advice, and your mom can chime in here too as well, to somebody who's, just starting out in the business, maybe who's a dreamer, has a dream to do something, whether it's sing or dance or act or,
Oh my God, I would say run the other way. No, I'm kidding. No, I would just say, determination and being able to deal with rejection, not take anything personally, and to just do the best work you can. I think it's really important to study with somebody and to keep your, it's just like a muscle, just to keep it going. And I would just say you have to be diligent. I mean, you just have to have a hard skin and just, do it until you get it. I mean, I just think people that say that they haven't made it or didn't make it, didn't work for them, I think it's really because they stopped. I think people have a quitting, a place where they quit.
A threshold.
But I just think you have to just keep going for what you want. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Great piece of advice.
Awesome. Tuesday, as always, thank you for everything. I love you so much.
I love you too. Nice meeting you, Blaze.
Yes. Meeting you too. And you too, Mom.
You too, Mom. She said, thank you.
Thank you for everything, Tuesday. Have a great night.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, Ken.
Bye, Ken.
Bye. Bye, Mom. All right. So, Blaze, I'll be honest. I told you we were going to bring Tuesday night on. You got to meet her, introduce you to her. What do you think of her?
I loved her. I absolutely loved her. I connected with her. I loved her stories about her dad, and just loving the fact that her mom was right there next to her. And it's kind of the vision that you kind of want, is that, you know, your parent or somebody is next to you, like pushing you, and remembers the stories, and, you know, all that recollection. I loved it. It was a great interview, Ken.
All right, so Blaze, so last episode, I was curious about how you were going to wind up taking your segment Beachcombing with Blaze and tying it into the theme of these episodes. Last week it was Star Wars, and you found a way to tie it into clones. I'm curious now, how are you going to pull this off and tie it into Frank Sinatra?
Well, Ken, how about, instead of telling you, how about I sing it for you?
Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Yep, today is all about my main man, the moon. Knowing when and how much the tides will rise and fall each day is crucial to beachcombers and marine animals too. Take a look at these sea anemones and mussels in a low tide pool at El Matador Beach, California. Too long out of the water and they won't survive. It's all a delicate dance. So how do tides work exactly? Well, the moon, the sun, and the earth all flex their gravity muscles, but the moon has the most influence on tides. This video from NASA shows how gravity and inertia create tidal bulges. As you can see, the ocean is towards the moon's gravity on the Earth's side closest to the moon, as well as the far side too. That's high tide. The combo of gravity and inertia creates the two bulges of water, kind of resembling a football, right? Then, because the high tides draw water away from the rest of the oceans, two low tides occur. There's also a spring tide, a neap tide, and a king tide too. These are the highest high tides and the lowest low tides. Beachcombers know that low tide will provide a much different haul than high does. My good friend and astrophotographer Scott Brady shared these incredible shots of some of the 8 phases of the moon. Each phase dictates how high or how low a tide may be, and how dark it is for marine life to feed and even reproduce. Pretty cool, right? You can follow Scott on Instagram at Just Give Me Some Space. And a huge thank you to him for sharing his talent. Until next week, explore, learn, love the adventure.
All right, listen, I don't know how you've done it. You've done it twice now in 2 episodes. You've matched Beachcombing with Blaze to the theme of our episodes. I'm curious about how you're going to do it next time. How do you do it?
I mean, challenge was accepted. I never back down from a challenge. So I'm excited. I get creative with it now. It makes my brain going, you know, so I'm looking forward to it. You said it before, you know, gauntlet thrown, got to do it. Got to do it. And speaking of doing it, that'll do it for our show today. Thank you so much to our guests, Lou Dottoli, and Tuesday Night on behalf of her dad, Baker Knight. It was so lovely hearing all of his stories, and listening to Lou's wonderful renditions of Sinatra songs. And here's to another Silver Phoenix happy hour. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, everybody.